Welcome to another episode of Friday Morning Coffee. I'm Mike Ferrell, and I appreciate you joining me this morning. And today we're going to talk a little bit about sort of the overall thoughts of strategic planning. Today's title is Good is the Enemy of Great. Many of you have read the book by Jim Collins, Good to Great. You can see over my back shoulder that it's this week's best business book. It's one that's been around for a while, but it's one that's got some very good lessons in it as far as looking at your organization and making it better. And I love the opening line of that book, which is, good is the enemy of great, because I think if you look at most businesses, most sales organizations, most departments in large companies, you really have to look at what can we do to take our business, our organization, our sales, whatever it is, what can we do to take it to the next level? Obviously, in most cases, if you're watching this and you're in business today, you must be doing something good, because otherwise you wouldn't stay in business very long. However, I think in a lot of companies that I've worked with and a lot of organizations that I've worked with, you find sort of a complacency sets in, that we do it pretty well, we don't really need to fix anything, we don't need to do it better, we're making good profits, good revenues, whatever the measuring stick is, we're doing pretty well, and so we really, we're in good shape, we really don't need to do anything. And it's in those situations when I sit down with those companies and organizations that I really look at, okay, you're doing it well today, but what can you really do to take it to the next level? Or in the words of Emerald, what can you do to kick it up a notch? And so what I'd like to do is talk just for a few minutes this morning about thinking about how you kick it up a notch. How do you really throw out good and become great? And so I think the first step is you really need to get your team engaged. You need to get your employees, your salespeople, your management. Everybody needs to get engaged so that you can get good ideas. I think in too many cases, and I don't care if it's a small business or a large corporation, in too many cases the ideas come from a small group of people, whether it's owners, management, whatever the case may be. We're not getting a broad enough perspective of what the issues are that really the company needs to address in order to become better. And so the first thing that I recommend is let's get everybody engaged as much as possible. Let's get some good ideas from a wide variety of places to really say, okay, what is it you can do to become better? Because that's going to do a couple of things. Number one, gives you a broader perspective of what it is, what are the issues impacting the organization. But number two, when it becomes an employee's idea or a salesperson's idea or whoever it was that came up with the idea, when it becomes their idea, they take ownership of it. They get engaged. They now want to figure out how do we make it better. And so I think it's really critical that you get as much information, as much feedback, as much engagement as you can from your team in order to determine, okay, where are the areas that we need to improve upon, and then what can we do about it? Okay, so that's the first step, is getting all of that information. The second step really then is disseminating that into a few good ideas. I've been through strategic planning processes with a lot of different types of businesses and companies, and part of the problem and part of the reason why that process fails many times is because it's just too much stuff. They're trying to focus on too many things, and it's virtually impossible to be able to do that. And so what we really recommend is look at 3 or 4 top priorities. What are the 3 or 4 things that we can really focus on, that we can really dig our teeth into and really make an effort to change and get better? And once we're done with those 3 or 4 things, then we'll move on to the next list of issues, the next list of priorities. So keep it simple. Keep it a small list. Really define what are those highest priorities. Where are the things that can be of the highest impact today, versus those that that may not be as impactful until a year from now or 5 years from now. So again, you want to really boil it down to 2 or 3 or 4 real priorities that you can focus on, and then at that point it becomes determining how you're going to do it. and then, most importantly, doing it. I think the last piece of that is the execution piece, making sure that you do it now. Don't go through a strategic planning process and then don't implement anything for a year. If you're going to do it, if you're going to get feedback, if you're going to get employees engaged, if you're going to get your team engaged, do it now. Don't wait because now it's fresh. The ideas, the process are fresh in their mind. They're going to be actively engaged in the process now. If you wait 6 months or wait a year, you're going to find that you're going to lose that engagement because now it just sort of gets watered down. So as you get that good information, as you get those ideas from your entire team, prioritize them, determine what are the top priorities, and then determine how you're going to attack them and execute them now. Really look at doing it now, getting that game plan together and doing it now. Obviously, from our perspective at the Pinecrest Group and What Are You Dealing With, we've got a lot of tools that can help you in those areas. If you visit our websites at www.whatayoudealingwith.com and www.thepinecrestgroup.com, you can find a lot of ideas and a lot of tools that we offer to help you do that strategic planning process. But even if you don't use us, even if you're going to do it on your own, again, make sure you're getting feedback from everybody, you're getting people engaged, you're defining those priorities, you're figuring out how you're going to focus on those priorities, and then you're executing today. That's the main message that I want to get out this morning in Friday Morning Coffee, is that do it now. And don't be afraid to turn the organization upside down. I've long said that every organization ought to be completely dismantled and rebuilt every 2 to 3 years. Because if you really look at what are the things, if we're falling into the same routines and the same things that we've done time after time after time, we're not giving ourselves room for improvement. We're not allowing ourselves to kick it up a notch. So that's my ideas and thoughts for this morning. Again, thanks for joining me today on Friday Morning Coffee, and I look forward to seeing you next week, and have a fantastic weekend, and I hope wherever you are this weekend, it's a lot warmer than where I am. So take care.